With the world getting more environmentally conscious, many countries, companies, and organizations are putting more effort into going green. However, even though most people support the move to be greener to aid climate change, not everyone has made the move to make conscious choices. When it comes to fighting emissions that affect the environment, transportation is one big culprit. According to research, transport is responsible for about 24% of energy-related carbon emissions all over the world. Most times, half of these carbon dioxide emissions come from carrying goods and services, while the other half comes from transporting passengers from one place to another. Passenger transport is very important, but it has a huge impact on our environment. From private cars, taxis, mopeds, three-wheeled rickshaws, bullet trains, or busy subways, people need to be transported. But how can we do that and still help the environment? This is where the grand idea of electric vehicles comes in. Electric vehicles have been on the rise for quite some time now, and it looks like they are here to stay because they are the solution to combating the environmental problems that passenger transport emissions cause. Battery-powered electric vehicles are the key to the future of enjoying a cleaner and calmer environment. However, we still have a majority of fuel-powered vehicles that pose a risk to public health and contribute to global warming. Electric cars are not that cost-effective because it takes a lot of energy to move around just 2 to 4 people over long distances. This is why the case for electrification of other types of vehicles is stronger. And at the top of the list is buses. City transit or school buses are ideal for electrification. Electric buses are a better alternative to conventional fuel-powered buses because they help to reduce the environmental and health threats posed by diesel buses. But on the other hand, diesel-powered buses provide transport for people and they carry a lot of children to and from school every day. These conventional buses emit diesel smoke directly in crowded places, and it has led to countless illnesses and deaths. In fact, it has been reported that diesel smoke is a big contributor to the 6.5 million deaths that happen every year due to air pollution. And so, to combat the rise of conventional vehicles and the harmful emissions they produce, electric buses are on the rise. However, electric buses are still a developing technology, but they have seen tremendous advancements that have made them a viable option for many transit agencies, school districts, airports, and large organizations. Electric buses emit no air pollutants or greenhouse gases. They have zero tailpipe emissions, including nitrogen oxide and particulate matter. From the looks of things, electric buses are gradually paving their way into countries and communities. Countries like the United States, China, Sweden, Germany, Australia, and many other countries are purchasing battery-powered electric buses at increasing rates. With the soaring rates of electric buses becoming the main means of public transportation, what advantages do they offer? Electric buses produce zero emissions. This is probably the best benefit that electric buses and electric vehicles in general offer. Since they are powered by battery packs that run an electric motor to turn the wheels, they do not require gasoline or diesel, and as such, they do not produce tailpipe pollution. This makes electric buses a better alternative to conventional buses as they reduce our greenhouse gas emissions as well as other harmful pollutants in residential areas. It is a known fact that cars are responsible for a large portion of the pollutants that are released into the air. And sadly, diesel-powered buses account for more than 60% of the emissions. This is why electric buses used for public transportation help to minimize air pollution. By eliminating diesel exhaust emissions, electric buses help to improve the air quality in communities, which makes life more pleasant for residents. And if we were to replace a country's diesel-powered transit buses with electric buses, it could eliminate more than 2 million tons of greenhouse gas emissions every year. Electric buses have a lower cost of operation. One profitable advantage for electric buses is that they are cheaper to run and maintain than conventional buses. And as a plus, they are highly efficient. Although the cost of switching from diesel-powered buses to electric buses can be high, the initial cost can be offset by the long-term savings in other aspects. Electric buses have lower fuel costs, fewer components, require less maintenance, and have a longer life cycle. As for the components of electric buses, the motor has just one moving part, and most of the power goes to the wheels. This simply means that there is a slim chance of anything going wrong when in use, and this results in a lower cost of repairs. Also, when comparing electricity with diesel, fuel savings can be significant. However, the lower operating cost of electric buses makes them more economical in the long run than diesel-powered buses. Electric buses are cheaper to power with electricity than diesel, since electricity prices are generally much more stable than diesel or gasoline prices. But between fuel and maintenance savings, electric buses can help save hundreds of thousands of dollars, and these extra finances can be invested back into the community or the organization. Electric buses benefit the community. Apart from its major advantage of having zero tailpipe emissions, electric buses are a great advantage to the community because they don't emit noise. Noise pollution is one of the many challenges that many urban cities face. But electric buses are quiet and smooth, and they allow passengers to relax and easily have conversations. Meanwhile, diesel and combustion engine buses tend to vibrate and make a lot of noise. Electric buses also offer passengers the advantage of being able to recharge their electronic devices on the bus or at bus stops. Also, since buses are often used in areas with high concentrations of people and children, these people are easily susceptible to the negative effects of pollution, which have been linked to many illnesses such as asthma and bronchitis. And without vehicle emissions and particulates, electric buses provide cleaner air in communities. They are safe and reliable. Another advantage of electric buses to the community is that they reduce the financial cost of transportation. People don't have to pay as much with e-buses, since electric buses don't use diesel or gasoline, and they don't have unstable transportation prices that can be affected by the always changing price of gasoline and diesel. Electric buses are safer than diesel-powered buses. Electric buses are safer than their counterparts, diesel-powered buses, and the difference starts with their design. Since internal combustion engine buses have a lot of things going on inside, there are a lot of things that can go wrong, including the flammable tank that can rupture at any second. However, when it comes to the design of electric buses, the electric batteries are merged into the frame and they are low, which creates a stable platform with a power source that is away from the passenger space. Also, electric buses boast a regenerative braking system that is much more effective than standard drum brakes when it comes to emergency braking situations, making them safer and a better alternative to internal combustion engine buses. Electric buses are clearly a better solution than conventional cars, and for the environment, as they help to solve the problem of air and noise pollution and even congestion. But electric buses still have their environmental impact. The major difference between regular internal combustion engine buses and electric buses has to do with the process of converting the potential energy into kinetic energy. And thanks to lithium-ion batteries that electric buses use, they release no kind of combustion or air pollution while driving. However, their manufacturing process and the source of energy used to power these electric buses have been called to question whether they are good for the environment. The manufacturing of electric buses starts with raw materials. From extraction, refining, transporting, and manufacturing, all these processes require heavy-duty machines that generate carbon dioxide emissions. Even the production of the batteries has very high environmental costs. This is because these batteries are made of rare earth elements such as lithium, nickel, cobalt, and graphite, and they are only found beneath the surface of the earth. As such, they require heavy mining activities that have polluting processes. Moreover, aside from the polluting processes that it takes to extract the elements, the energy used to produce the batteries themselves has a big impact on the environment, since most of the energy doesn't come from low-carbon sources. Unless the source of energy used to produce and power these electric buses come from solar panels, wind turbines, or nuclear or hydroelectric power, the carbon dioxide emissions will be high, and even higher than conventional buses. However, there is great hope as electric car companies and countries are improving their electricity generation by introducing more renewable sources into the grid. These renewable energy systems would help to reduce carbon dioxide emissions when manufacturing and powering electric buses. With so many benefits and advantages that electric buses have offered, they still have some drawbacks that might delay countries and organizations from making the switch. Electric buses have a higher purchase price. Electric buses today cost more than conventional diesel-powered buses, and this is a major concern for organizations like schools that may want to convert to electric buses. Electric buses can cost around $30,000 higher than their diesel-powered competitors. However, this high purchase price is offset by the operating cost of the bus's life. This is because organizations can save on fuel and maintenance costs, and they last longer. Also, as the technology used to produce electric buses evolve, the cost of buying an electric bus is expected to reduce, which will help reduce the purchase price. Electric buses suffer a drawback in charging infrastructure and battery range. Charging infrastructure is a major consideration when buying an electric bus, and aside from the increased cost of charging stations must be planned based on routes and battery range. As such, there is a need for new charging infrastructure. Also, charging electric buses is not as simple as stopping by a gas station and filling up in a few minutes. It takes a while to charge electric buses, and with the limited number of charging stations and limited drive ranges of electric buses, it can be discouraging to switch to e-buses. Many electric buses have a battery range of around 80 to 100 miles per charge, and while that is good for some areas, it might not be for some. However, there are newer batteries in electric vehicles that are currently being developed that will provide an extended range at a lower price. Thankfully, the advantages of electric buses far outweigh their drawbacks. Also, the industry of electric automobiles is stepping up its game to make sure that EVs are 100% environmentally friendly. Gradually, more countries are making the move to electric buses as their main means of transportation, and before long, all public transportation will be electric. And with that, we've come to the end of this video. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn on the bell notification so you never miss an upload. Thank you very much for watching. Catch you guys in the next video.